the Troll King back. Or, I should say more specifically, the retired Troll King. As my last stream, I've been trolling the internet since 1996. And I've gotten bored with that. And so I want to retire and give somebody else a chance to kind of like, somebody who's younger and give them an opportunity to troll for the next 20 or so years. So with that being said, I am here not as a gamer. I'm not necessarily as a IRL live streamer. My focus more is on literature. As I said before, again, during the see, I got a message on my phone. Anyway, basically, like I said, in my last videos, I wrote a lot of literature, a lot of stories, I should say, short stories, manuscripts, screenplays, poetry, even novel-length stories as well too. Unfortunately, I've never been published yet. They seem to not like my work, but that's okay. I'll keep on, and in the meantime, I'll give you, the public, my work, my prose, and see what you think of it. So here I am, to all the freaks, trolls, malcontents, party poopers, losers, the freaks, the nerds, and everybody else. Welcome to my stream here. So without further ado, I'm going to dive in now. Now, once again, yesterday I did chapter 1 of my story, Torn Lace, which, again, just a kind of overview for those new viewers. It is a science fiction story, kind of like dystopia, what they call it. Almost post-apocalypse, but not quite. Seems to be on the verge of getting there, though, certainly. So, again, kind of overview with chapter 1, we had our General Dean. He has described what has happened to the American government. It has fractured. And now there are different military generals, leaders, and so forth that are now have taken control of different areas like Southern California, Texas, and so forth. Although the Midwest and Eastern states seem to be untouched so far. Okay, so let's do this. Now, Chapter 2. Chapter 2, a dive in. And also remember as well, too, though, it is in third person omniscient, present tense as well. So let's go. Okay, Chapter 2, a dive in. Come on, light. Change. A thin left hand whips hard against a cool spheric-shaped button in the hope of signaling a stoplight to turn green across the street from where the young woman stands. Her delicate facial expressions contort in a flurry of nervous emotional tics at the sight of a massive fortress-like complex rising 4 stories high and straddling an entire city block past a static neon red. The last of dark ashes, once blanketing the city from the Oakland firestorms, make no attempt to hide the distance between the two. Floating and swirling through the atmosphere, even the ominous connotations these particles invoke seem to avoid going near the Gothic structure. And like a powerful king above his lower subjects, the complex site sits among other dilapidated structures. Well, this is it. It's so big. Awestruck, she barely registers a dark bang draping itself across her right eye. What's taking so long? A fleet of tan-colored buses roar past her, as if acknowledging her urgency. Tinted windows with bars placed horizontally across the rectangular shape block any visual access from outside. Biting her lip in frustration, she sweeps the irritating follicle away with a southpaw limb. The other holds tight onto a standard letter-sized piece of paper, fluttering, then tapering off once the last of the powerful vehicles blow past. Finally, in one blink, she darts across the street. Short, prop black pumps click across the asphalt like a child's musical instrument. Her white scarf, draped about her neck, flaps behind. Horns blaring from desperate commuters scream from all directions, hurrying her pace. Sorry, with a sheepish grin. Can't be late for my date. Several times she almost gets sideswiped. As she reaches the curb, the close-fitting black sports coat flies open, revealing a cream-colored silk blouse. Doing her best to arrange her outfit, she stares upwards at the complex once more. This close, it dominated over her. A chill spreads throughout her body, causing a shiver that matches the cool temperature. Gathering her wits, she unfolds a slip of paper and stares for what must have been the 100th time at the large print. The Citadel. Sticks and stones may surprise me, but whips and chains delight me. 1138 Mission Street, San Francisco, California. The words are flashed over the image of an exaggerated cartoon-like beautiful woman in full-on BDSM outfit. Closing her eyes, she breathes out, then slowly opens them. She steps forward, up onto a short flight of stairs formed out of broken cobblestone. The entrance is the most modern. Scroll down. The entrance is the most modern part of the Citadel. A retro 1930s flashback inserted in the bottom of the Gothic template. Golden lacquered steel frames large tinted windows. When she reaches the top, she peeks inside. Large, burly security bouncers in tight black-fitted shirts mill about. She raises a small hand that curls into a fist. It hovers for seconds. Her arm quivers. No, I can't do this. She breaks off. She races a few feet away and leans against the building. Eyes closed, she breathes in and out, trying desperately to calm her nerves. She looks down and realizes her hand is locked around a heart-shaped silverwork necklace. Loosening the tight grip. Sorry. Where am I at? Okay, loosening the tight grip, she strokes the smooth shape. For the first time she could remember, this is comforting. She flicks it open with a painted thumbnail. Her eyes follow, then a smile as well. A picture of an elderly woman with iron gray curls stares back at her. The old woman's arms are thrown about a young girl of 5 years, grinning at the camera with a few missing teeth. She debated getting rid of the locket so many times before, as it had always unnerved her, always brought up the past. But despite the painful reminder, she kept it around for some reason she could never have been able to self-diagnose. Her thoughts drift to the smell of fresh baked sourdough bread from a nearby cafe, intermingling with a pungent odor of stale urine, the latter emanating no doubt from the sidewalk. A dull pain registers in her stomach, followed by a gurgling sound. She hadn't eaten since last night, and the scent alone is enough for her mouth to water at the thought of the warm, tender, succulent bread. She sighs in irritation and alters her stance in a fruitless bid to keep the hunger pains at bay. The immediate vantage point is one allowing her to clearly spy the Bay Bridge from a certain distance, leading out of the city towards the east. Plumes of gray and black smoke pour from its horizon, the source of the dark ashes. The bridge towers above most of the other commercial businesses with its massive steel structure and spiderweb of cable attachments. She looks below, then around, and notices the streets are oddly quiet for this time of day. Anytime streets are quiet in San Francisco is an odd thing. A loud collection of noises piques her interest to the left. Stretching for several blocks down, a buffet of people from various racial and ethnic stock line up in broken formation. They loiter next to a fleet of tan-colored buses looking as familiar as the ones driving past her a few minutes ago. This wasn't an unusual sight. Since the conflict began, the new regime had employed as many bodies as possible for cleanup efforts. The soot from the dark snowflakes had turned much of the city into something you might recognize in those old television documentary shows detailing the environmental disasters of the late Soviet Union. So it came as no surprise for the usual crowd in their grimy overalls and work boots to line up at the bus stop for their short ride home. What is surprising, or what could only be their families packing the sidewalk alongside them. Shouts of laughter and low muttering overlap each other with Spanish accents thrown in. Most seem bored, with some every once in a while throwing suspicious glances at the rows of riot police outfitted in bulky, dark-colored riot armor. One of the security team steps forward, then raises his bullhorn to instruct the crowd. Remain calm. Remain calm. Maintain order. Keep it an orderly single file line. We will process you as quickly as we can out of the city. Food and shelter, along with entertainment and other amenities, will be provided you upon your arrival. Keep order. Large groups of homeless loiter nearby. Out of the way of the crowd, and apparently police dragons as well. Her eyes narrow on what might be a young drifter, barely recognizable under layers of dark clothes and grime hunched over. A small movement, and she can make out a young infant cradled in thin, pale hands. Swaying back and forth, it seems not to be paying any mind to the events surrounding them. She smiles to herself as another fleet of buses scream past. The streetlight turns red as the squeal of brakes announces a sudden stop. The windows dotting the side of these models being much more translucent, she tilts her head to one side, getting a better look. Leaning against the window, an obese, dark-skinned woman turns her head and stares at her. A small white mouth guard covers the lower area, with a pair of soulful, tired eyes looking back. Eyes maintaining all the misery of the world implanted in those orbs. The engine roars to life, with another sharp squeal, then follows the go-ahead green light. The mechanical sound dissipates as another more organic tone of an argument blares from the homeless encampment. One of the more brash is arguing with the riot cops. Curiosity grabbing her, the young woman steps a few feet toward the drama. Sitting on the ground, he gestures wildly with his hands, attracting more than a few of the riot police. They encircle him in a wall of intimidation, with all sporting wraparound shades hiding any traceable emotion. Only their lips moving break the sentinel persona. The homeless man thrusts his arm forward, pointing an accusing finger. As they step back in rehearsed coordination, one raises a thick gloved hand and points it at the destitute. A howl of pain pours from his gaping mouth. As he doubles over, the rest of the security team rush forward with nightsticks. Over and over, their arms rise up and strike down, already drawing curiosity from the crowd waiting to enter their assigned passage. Shouts of protest are hurled at the team, who respond by forming another perimeter around the agitated mom. The homeless man's body spasms out of control with a jumble of whining, broken words pouring from his blubbering lips. He's done nothing wrong. Leave him alone. The young woman surprises herself at the tone of her voice. Excuse me, miss, but are you here for an appointment? She whirls around and steps back in surprise. One of the bouncers is holding the door open, shooting the young woman a look of irritation. She gathers her wits and steps forward. I'm Marie Lace. I'm here for an appointment with fantasiesunlimited.com. Can you speak that a little louder? I didn't hear your name. He flips open a checklist and scans it over with a critical eye. Marie Lace. I'm here for an appointment with, Fantasies Unlimited. He interrupts. I've got you right here. Please step inside. Flashing him a nervous smile, she steps through the entrance held open. The setting sun casts a shadow over the chaotic events outside. The last of the vocal mob being forced into the last of the bus units exiting the city, swirling the dark snowflakes in their wake. Okay, that is the end of Chapter 2. Okay, so now here, what we have here is a young woman finding a gig. It's pretty apparent from what I've been reading to you all that she's probably going to do something a little bit on the erotic side at the very least. I mean, Fantasies Unlimited, especially in San Francisco. But I mean, I hope that you can get a sense of world building going on with this. I still think, again, I wrote this 5 years ago. That's kind of a little janky in some of the words, especially some of the words. I think I slipped a few past tense. I think that my writing has improved more. It is interesting to go back to this work that I did, like I said, 5 years ago, and kind of explore what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, what I can improve on it. And I also should mention as well, too, though, aside from the story, for Twitch, I know that a lot of people use an OBS system. Apparently, I think my laptop may be lacking like a certain kind of like internal hardware, because it said for some reason I got an error message, and the research said that a lot of laptops have the problem with being able to use OBS on it. So for me, I only have a laptop and I have my phone. So hopefully, I mean, I'll get that fixed in the future. If not, I can just deal with it right now. That's fine. Okay. Also should mention that yesterday I did about, I think, like 16 minutes or whatever. That was just kind of get like, a gist or whatever of how I'm feeling, because a lot of people who are doing streaming have been doing it for like a long time, and so they're used to talking for a long time and staying, kind of entertaining. So hopefully, the more I do this, the more I'm going to do this longer and longer. Right now I think I've been streaming for about 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to keep on, hopefully for at least 45 minutes. I'll see how I feel though if I get tired. Let me take a sip of water here. Okay. Chapter 3. Chapter 3, The Citadel. It came as a welcome relief to escape the near right when she stepped through the door. She always hated seeing others in pain, and could never help but close her eyes and shiver at the thought. Her mouth opens in surprise at the size and elaborate furnishings, craning her neck in every possible angle to soak in the sights. The inside is as large and cavernous as she expected, but the modern design and furnishings threw away the cold design of past years. The hint of sweet incense mixing with cleaning agents sneaks in from somewhere. Over here, please, the guard nods. She follows him to the security desk as her eyes glance over the many hallways leading to different places. To her immediate right, a wide gray stone staircase spirals to the second floor. To the left, a straight passageway extends quite a ways before transitioning right, leading to somewhere. Bronze chandeliers overhead bathe the entire floor in a soft yellow light, throwing off an ambient vibe. Cheap modern paintings adorn the white plaster walls. Tucked away against those same walls, and hidden among the corners are plush, velvet-colored chairs with retro French design. Ferns adorn the top of a metal-worked coffee table with magazines of different genres scattered here and there. Just need to see your ID. Thank you. Oh yeah, just a moment. Her hand darts into a stylish purse with red floral patterns flowing against ebony leather. She pushes aside a jumble of pictures and makeup until she finds right here, holding it in front of her with triumph. The guard leads forward, nods, then motions to one of the guest seats nearest them. Thanks, you can take a seat. Looks like Athena will be interviewing you today. Good luck with that. Great, thank you. She stuffs the ID back into her bag, then finds a seat and sits down. Minutes tick by, and soon the anxiety creeps back. Breathing out, she rolls her ample buttocks more firmly into the plush seat and crosses her willowy legs. Then she leans back, letting her hands crawl forward against the armrests. The cold touch of the lacquered wood is a welcome feeling. Boredom forces her eyes to flicker to a small group mingling on the other side of the lobby. Brief snippets of conversation overlap each other. A tattooed blonde in tight-fitting attire smiles pleasantly near the bouncers. Apparently wearing dark clothing is a common fashion statement here. A more relaxed young woman stands a few feet away from the group, nodding her head in approval at whatever they're talking about. Something about this catches her eye. The clothes are casual enough to be sure. A white t-shirt and stylish jeans drape her tiny, slender frame. Brunette hair is held back with a full braid hanging in front of her shoulder. It's a face, though, piquing the curiosity of Marie. So childlike and elfin in appearance, like staring at a pixie pulled from any children's fantasy book. The most intelligent blue eyes she had ever seen are set in a pale face never bothering to hide the sharp cunning. Breaking into a grin, it showcases a row of perfect white teeth. As if a sonic link had been triggered between the two, the elfin girl shoots Marie a look. Hypnotized, Marie stares back with no acknowledgement of time or place. Loud jostling noise from two members of the right place pop out of nowhere, whisper something to the elfin girl. Oh, I actually have a guest here. Oh, yes it is. Well, the reason why I'm streaming from a closet is that it's a lot easier to, because I don't have like a lot of money at this point to spend on streaming, but it kind of catches the sound a little bit better, or a lot better. Like if I was in a living room, it'd be like an echo, pretty much. That's why I'm in here. Plus, it's kind of like, it has a soft, the lights are kind of soft vibe to it. Kind of gives it more adult look. Also, if you're just joining me, I'm basically doing my literature. I'm reading what I wrote before. It's science fiction. And so it's pretty exciting. So, no, I didn't want to take that. Well, a lot of people have been saying that, like, if you go into large places, there's a huge echo. And I kind of want to avoid that problem. That's why. The walls are pretty much, it's a pretty wide closet. So it's like, I'm not like, bending down or anything. It's pretty spacious. But yeah, so like I said, it's quiet too. I don't have like noise from outside. Because pretty much beyond this room, it's like, there's really a lot of construction going on, and it's very noisy. Oh, do a test? Yeah, I mean, it's just that I'm already here, though. I mean, I could, oh, yeah, in the closet, yeah. Tour of the house, it's pretty messy, and like I said, I'm here just to read my story to you. If you like it, great. I think it's exciting. So that's pretty much what I want to concentrate on. I may do something where I'm going to walk down the street and read my story. But that's like, for now, I just want to finish this story. Then I'm probably going to take some short stories I'm going to read outside, walking down the street. Kind of like, I think there are a lot of, like Ice Poseidon does that, Bone Clinks, guys like that. I'm going to do that. But basically, I'm not like a gamer guy. I'm just reading my story here. And that's what I'm, concentrating on. Oh no, it's just like my house is a mess. I mean, it's I'm a slob, basically. I'm a slob, So I'll admit that though. But yeah, anyway though, let's get back to the story though. Again, we have a young woman in here, Marie Lace. She is in a kind of maybe a sketchy place right now. So maybe just enjoy it. Okay, so as she breaks off contact, Marie's thoughts return to Earth. Her eyes flicker back to the armrest, trying to placate her boredom elsewhere. A fierce lion carved into the wood raises its paw for a strike, with a long forked tongue lashing out. Closing her eyes, a trickle of sweat flows down her back. She leans forward and strips off the jacket. Loud, slow clinks on the polished floor in front grab her attention. The first thing her eyes pick up is the legs. The legs. Black stiletto heels form a mobile base for the longest pair Maria had ever seen. Flawless pale skin is wrapped up in a beautiful package of fishnet stockings. Short pink-flavored hot pants add a stylish design to cover her nether region, with a loose-fitting mesh shirt hiding an ample bosom held up by a brazen bra, I should say. You must be Marie Lace. My name is Athena. A smile twists Athena's chiseled profile as she extends a hand. While shaking it, Marie notices a very detailed tattoo of a dragon crawling up the forearm. The tail twists and turns with green scales covering the fantastical body. Long claws reach out in earnest, with the head leaned forward to billow out a dark green flame from the wide maw, ending at her wrist. Yeah, for the initial interview, right? Of course. Just follow me upstairs where we'll do the interview and take some pictures. Gathering her thoughts and body, Marie hurries to keep pace with Athena's long strides. Turning left, they ascend the wide stone spiral staircase. I can't reach. Thankfully, the wall generates a cooler atmosphere even as they pass the second floor. Wow, this is all as big and so different from anything I've ever seen before, Marie remarks in wonder. Athena quips a laugh and runs a hand through her raven hair. Oh, yeah, we get that a lot. In fact, this whole area used to be a U.S. military property during the Civil War. I'm no history buff, meaning I don't have a college background on California history, but I do know that it was constructed from Moorish influence for its design. During the 1970s is when they abandoned and sold it to the highest bidder. Supposedly a massive bomb shelter was built around the height of the Cold War during the 1960s. Supposedly. Athena winks at her. It's just so spooky, especially from outside, Marie giggles with nervous breath. Oh, I imagine more than a few demons lurk around some of the nooks and crannies. When they reach the third level, they move past open doors containing modern office furnishings, until stopping near a double door entrance built from antique wood. Athena opens the right side and gestures with an open-handed smile. She steps through with eyes that wander every which way. The size of the room is as spacious as the rest of the adjoining rooms. Its lighting equipment is one of the first to grab her attention, even tucked against the background. Thin black rods shoot overhead and hang over a pale white background, no doubt used for professional shoots. To her right, a collection of lube and pornographic magazines cover a large table used for arts and craft-style projects. Oh, okay. That's good advice. I think I will update my my Twitter feed. Um, yeah, again, this is like my second time streaming, so I'm still kind of getting used to things. Okay, back to the story. Okay. Athena opens the right side and gestures with an open-handed smile. She steps through with eyes that wander every which way. Okay, I think I just read that. Okay. To her right, a collection of lube and pornographic magazines cover a large table used for arts and crafts type projects. Go ahead and make yourself comfortable. The couch is right over there. We'll get the interview process over with as soon as possible. After that, we'll take some photo shots. Just fill out this form, and when you're done, let me know. Thanks, hon. Getting herself situated, Marie scans the clipboard with its laundry list of boxes and check marks as if prepping for an exam. Her pen taps the paper before checking off some of the boxes periodically. Satisfied, she nods and waves down Athena, who is busy doing nothing on her phone. Oh, you have service? Marie questions. It's been off and on ever since the military takeover. Athena's eyebrows arch and her lips twist with a wry grin. Striding out, she matches the clipboard and glances at the end product with a cool eye. Describing it as a military takeover could land you in trouble, dear lady. And yes, the regime has gained access to several more satellite uplink centers. Services available, at least for those who can pay. Oh, snap. I'll have to get a hold of my old service provider. At least internet is still working. Wow, pretty picky resume you have here, Athena tisks. No people of a certain race, no sex at all. If she requests no sex scenes, then no sex scene it is, Athena. We're not about pressuring the models into something they're not comfortable with. A monotone voice from behind catches both their attention. Strolling in with the confidence of a boss is the same childlike woman Marie first spotted 3 stories below. I'll take it from here. I took in her resume when she admitted and gave the approval. Athena passes the clipboard, mumbling to herself on the way out. The childlike profile morphs into the macabre as a slow grin stretches her face apart. Forgive that one's manners, she explains. She is a precocious one, and her attitude hasn't changed since the transformation. Unfortunately, it shows up in her attitude sometimes. But aren't we all freaks, though, in some way? Name's Susan. Susan Dean. She thrusts her arm out like a gunslinger, angles her hand over Marie's, and shakes vigorously. And I'm Maria. So you're the one who read over my stuff. That would be the affirmative. Susan is thorough with the rest of the resume and flings it behind. The clipboard lands somewhere with a distant clanging sound. Taking a cushioned back antique chair, Susan turns it around and shatters the seat with both feet flung forward. She snuggles both arms on the upper portion and leans her chin on the temporary pillow. What did you think of it? Marie's question is tinged with desperate hope. I think I should be asking you a series of questions, Susan counters. Of course. Of course. So first off, your contact info is a little short. You only put down an email address and nothing else. Privacy issues. Fair enough. Also, when I came in, I thought I overheard Athena saying something to the effect that you don't want to be any scene involving kissing, fellatio, intercourse, and other extracurricular activities. Whatever. Is that correct? Marie nods. I can't do it, Susan. I'm married with a baby at home. I'm already taking a chance if my boyfriend ever saw this. Susan leans back and returns the gesture. And he has no idea you're doing this? Interesting. Well, your wish is granted, so let's continue along then. Tell me truthfully, what are your fantasies? And just to let you know, we don't film scat or blood play. We do have some limits here, so just throwing that out there. Well, Marie trails off. A slow grin crawls up her face, millimeter by millimeter. I like to be slapped, spanked, spit on, hair pulled, yelled at. Whipped, beaten? Susan adds. Her eyes shine like two sky blue sapphires. Well, that too. I like being choked. I love that. Pain sluts. Susan flicks her index finger at Marie. What? Are subcategories of fetish websites. One of them is pain sluts, which is we devote to the BDSM crowd. No sex involved, but a lot of imagination is. Wait, what the hell am I talking about? I'm sure you've seen it. That's what you find out about us, after all. Well, yeah, I must have forgot. That would be best, as most of the rest involve using a lot of, male-driven phallic symbols. Shifting, Marie nods for acceptance. I can do that, no problem. Okay, great, because I do have a scene coming up here shortly, in like an hour. Marie's breath catches in her throat. What? Don't worry, it's a short, simple scene. I'm playing the role of a cunt boss, and you'll be my secretary who keeps on fucking up. I dominate you until you admit. Easy as that. Marie breaks out into cold sweats. No, I need more time to think. To think about what? My son's babysitter. I need to take over soon. I can't afford to pay her overtime. I just can't. Marie grabs her purse and glances around for an early exit. You'll have plenty. Susan rolls out a wad of thick currency and fans herself with this loose material. 1,000 Continentals here waiting for you upon completion. It's not much taking into account rising inflation, but for a day's pay, it's not too bad. Not bad at all. I think you'll have enough for overtime. Marie halts from her seat. Susan gives her a smile that plays on her lips. That's really 1,000? Susan buries her nose deep into the stack and inhales. You know what this smells like, Marie? She leads on. It smells like food. Damn, look how skinny you are, girl. I bet you didn't eat anything all day. And for your baby at home? And what about Mr. Partner? Marie stares at the money. Licking her lips, she sits down. What about STD testing? What about it? I don't have a cock. I'm not fucking you. Susan bolts up and displays a rude, mocking act of thrusting forward with her hips. Use common sense. Images of her family flash through her mind, weighing the consequences of her choice. Okay, I'll do it. That's the girl, Susan laughs. Be ready in an hour. I'll spank you then. What? I'll see you then. Oh, okay. And that is the end of chapter 3 of my story. So kind of to recap, again in the story here, is that Marie is, she seems to be somebody who hasn't eaten in a while. She is desperate for cash. She is desperate for money at this point. We know she has a baby at home. She has a boyfriend. We know that she's going to this fantasy website specifically to do a pornographic shoot of some kind. Well, actually not some kind, because the character of Susan in this chapter did say that she is going to do some BDSM. So yeah, basically what's going to happen here is that she has accepted in 1 hour to do that show, to do that skit. I mean, to do that scene. Okay. So this is what we're going to lead into for chapter 4. Um, so let me scroll down here, and chapter 4 is called "The Start of Something Beautiful." And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to read this one. I'm going to read this chapter. This is actually a very good chapter. It's one of my favorites. So here we go. This is it. This is really it. I still can't believe I'm doing this. As she runs her tongue along crimson lips, Marie flicks her head to the side. A loose bang whips itself from her vision, much to her satisfaction. Slouching on a modern, jet-black office desk, she glances once more in curiosity at the set crew in those tight black outfits working with a dutiful urgency. Most of the props were already constructed, and it was as authentic as any corporate setting. Great cubicles are off to the side, with standard sheetrock creating a sterile and professional look. Her forehead already begins to perspire from the bright lighting caressing her body from the side and overhead. Their towering length bears their light spectrum down on her like a mechanical cyclops, its single eye intent on discovering all of her secrets. Everything had gone smoothly by the time the shoot started to commence. She was led downstairs towards the end of the building, and after making a sharp right, she entered another room. Marveling at the amount of equipment and power involved, she filled out the paperwork and produced the necessary documents to legalize everything. Even when the country at war with itself, basic laws such as copyright must be adhered to, Susan quipped. After a better description of what she was getting herself into, she made a trip to the ladies' shower room. With a little application of makeup, she was transformed. Marie always had a natural beauty to her even without any cosmetics. But when applied, she was pretty up to the role of something of a movie star. Beside her lips, eyeliner, or mascara, a light powder coats the rest of her photogenic profile. Her normally curly brown hair is now slicked back in a more professional style, and here she finds herself waiting. Gods, you're a beauty. Susan coos out of the darkness. Stepping through shadows not touched by the artificial lights, she marches out between two large film cameras pointing at Marie's side. Marie grins at Susan's confident strut. Why are you so happy? Must be excited for today's entertainment. Oh, I'm going to have some fun with you. Susan giggles. Standing just a few feet away from the main attraction, she's decked out in her own office costume. A black, matching suit hangs loosely from her body with a white starched shirt throwing off a butterfly collar, far less seductive than Marie's, with a powerful conservative theme. So, what exactly is going on here? Honestly, it was all kind of vague. I mean, I know it's supposed to be shuffling all through stuff in the back, but that's all? Susan arches her body to the side, resting one hand on her hip. She takes the other and places an index finger on her lips as her eyes and mouth twist upward in mock debate. Well now, good question. If I don't abuse you in some way, we could lose viewers. And that would be bad for business. Very bad. Now, if I beat you too hard, you might just run off. And we could not let that happen. Susan wraps a surprisingly cool hand around the back of Marie's neck and draws her close to whisper, Safe word is Brazil. Doll, don't be too shy to scream out if I'm hurting you. Marie nods as Susan pulls back. Don't worry about remembering any lines. Nothing specific. Just kind of ad-lib your way through the dialogue. React to how I react. I know I'm being ambiguous, but this is where the chemistry comes into play. Try and test your limits. Your own capacity for pain and eroticism. Challenge yourself, and you might be surprised at how good you are. Susan walks back off towards the production team, barking out instructions. Gathering herself, Marie braces her hands and pivots off to the desk. As she makes her way to the back, she reaches a horizontal row of 20th century style filing cabinets. Turning around, She waits for Violet filming to begin. Her heart thumps with every breath as beads of sweat pull together and drip down her back, cheek, and chest. All right, now, Susan calls out from somewhere in the dark. Everyone focus. We start the shoot in 3, 1, 2, and 3. On the verge of fainting, the last breath pours out and a strange calm replaces the anxiety on Susan's last words. She grabs the handle and fumbles opening, then closing the drawer. Trying to fit it into her character, she hums a tune to herself, busy doing nothing. The slow and steady rhythm of stiletto heels striking the makeshift linoleum floor shatters her concentration. No. Here it comes. The constant steady tempo increases until the clicks stop behind her. A small noise escapes from her throat. An eternity of anticipation crawls by, turning her stomach into twisted knots. She goes through the one cabinet, then another, faster and faster, until a hand locks around the loose fiber of her hair and twists slowly. She can't help a small groan of pleasure escape from her lips. The hand twisting even further, Marie's whimpering increases as her head is twisting back to stare at Susan, whose entire expression is bunched up into an angry mass of flesh, contorting every second. How many times do I have to tell you? Her voice shakes with a low growl. How many times do I have to tell you to file the reports on the very bottom, you stupid bitch? Marie stares into Susan's eyes, taken aback. She simpers. I'm sorry, I must have forgotten, ma'am. Ma'am? She curls her fists even tighter. Ow, please don't. Please don't, mommy. Not ma'am, not sir, not boss. I'm sorry, mommy. Satisfied, Susan breaks off as Marie backs up against the cold metal. I'm sorry, mommy, I didn't mean to. So what did you mean then? What? Susan's hand moves with astonishing speed, grabbing Marie by the throat. She slams her back against the cabinet. Fuck, are you stupid? What? Susan's eyes widen. The other arm shoots out and latches onto Marie's throat, feeling her bear down with all her strength. Marie leans back and closes her eyes. A lighthearted, euphoric pleasure washes through her. Unintelligible gibberish marbles through her closed windpipes. Opening her eyes, Susan's face is now as flush as hers, adding to an almost comical profile, complementing her lips twisted in bogus rage. Stop saying what, you stupid bitch? Susan yells. The wooziness dissipates as Susan takes her right hand and grabs Marie's tousled hair. With constant movement, she forces Marie's head back and forth with slow purpose. I wasn't, mommy. Please don't choke me. That's good, Susan croons. The hot breath caresses her face. Open your mouth. Obeying with no question, she opens in time to receive a present in the form of a missile of phlegm. Oh my God, that's so gross. Instinctively, she spits it out. Susan lets go of her hair, cups Marie's chin, and spits on her face. Puh! Shaking her head back from her head from side to side to avoid the spray, a secretion only causes Susan to redouble her efforts. Don't do that, bitch! I never told you to shut your pretty little mouth. Susan sprays another mouthful. Her hand crawls up Marie's face to rub her juices in. Okay. She's rubbing her faces in here, okay? Opening and closing her maw. Maria's face is a complete mess of smeared makeup and spit, reflecting the sharp light enveloping the two. You know what you are? Susan continues. You're a little piece of shit. Altering her movements, Susan's left hand moves up from Marie's neck and snags her Moore's hair. Her right hand strokes Marie's slick cheek with gentle strokes. And I want you to say it. I want you to say you're a piece of shit. Come on, you whore. You whore. You whore. You whore, you fucking whore. Ugh. Say it. Say it. Susan cackles a strange laugh. You fucking whore. You whore. You whore. You fucking whore. Maria's head swings from right to left. No. Say it, Susan barks out. She cries out in honest pain from a blast coming out of nowhere. Stars fill her vision as she tries to shake off. I'll slap you again if you don't say it. Say I'm a little piece of shit. You're a little piece of shit. Marie surprises herself. Another blast, and she cries out once more. Not waiting for her senses to return, Susan latches onto Marie's throat again with both hands. Pressing on the windpipes, the comical look is replaced by the rage of the wronged. A twisted mask of terror glowing beet red. Panic spreads through the Marie as the windpipe bow closes off. Oh, I can take it. I can take it. I can take it. The pain fades, and the light-hearted detachment returns with a pleasurable euphoria filling her. Her body shutting down from lack of oxygen. Seeing her condition, Susan lets go. I'm a shit, Marie croaks. Her legs wobbly like jello, she sinks to the floor. I'm a little piece of shit, Mommy. Marie repeats over and over. Heavy breathing from both women are the only noise filling the silent void. Marie raises her head and stares at Susan's smiling face. She's surprised to see the pale face shining with a slick coat of sweat. Bending at the knee, Susan pants while smoothing out Marie's wild hair. That's a good girl. You've been good for Mommy, but you still haven't taken your medicine. 10 lashes, Kay. That's just what Mommy ordered. 10 good whacks, and we're done. Marie nods and watches her stroll into the dark, then wishes she stayed there looking at what she returned with. Susan taps the 3-foot instrument with the palm of her hand. Thick and painted with a dark color shining with laminated brightness, the paddle makes a loud crack every time it strikes. Small stickers with various logos are plastered over the entire length. Rage, fear, ignorance, and an American flag decal. Okay, now, I want you to go to the desk right over there, Susan points out in the direction. Whatever you say, Mommy. Rising steadily to retain whatever balance she still had left, Marie clumsily reaches the edge. Good girl. Now I want you to bend over and drop your drawers. Marie turns with both hands sprawled on the desk and stares at Susan with eyes shaping to oval. No. Nudity wasn't part of this. Not at all. Reading her facial expression, Susan shakes her head with irritation. She marches over, grabs the back of Maria's skirt, and rips the material down with surprising strength. This exposes an extremely well-rounded behind, shaping nicely to her slender frame. Sharp hissing pours from Susan's teeth. Oh my God, that ass. That ass. Susan leans her paddle next to Marie, and then gently takes both cheeks, one hand for each. Kneading them together with sensuous precision, Marie shapes her mouth and moans. If I were a man, if I were a man, oh, if I were a man. Ooh, Susan's voice softens to a distinct monotone. Small muscles spasm in Marie's lower region as she feels Susan digging deeper with her strong claws. A striking sound, and Marie glances back over her shoulder. Susan mimics Marie's tone with her own moans of lust. She gasps, then breaks off and grabs the dangerous-looking instruments. Okay, I want you to count to 10. For each good whack, I want you to call out the number. Can you do that? Can you do that for Mommy? Yes, I can do that. I've been a bad girl, Mommy. I want to be good. Bracing herself with both hands, Marie's breath sucks in when the first strike lands. 1, she says, a stinging sensation warmth to her crotch. 2, more loudly, biting her lip. Her hips pivot in a slow circular motion. Her moaning intensifies. 3, with more force this time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Marie screams at the last one. Pain roars through her body. Her buttocks a blazing inferno of agony and pressure. Yes, yes, yes. 9, 9, 10. She collapses on the desk, almost on the verge of tears, entirely spent. Her body shakes with the force of an act she needed and is ashamed of. A stream of gibberish pours from a profile altering emotions with every second. Her eyes roll up into the back of her head. She doesn't even move when Susan crawls up and lays down on top of her, humming with pleasure. Shoots over doll. You did great. She coos into Marie's ear. Slowly parting herself from Marie's orgasmic shaking, she giggles with delight. Holy shit, you're dripping wet, she points out. Did you come? Virgin deflowered. When you're able, well, you know where the shower is, you can clean yourself up. A short time passes before Marie is able to collect her thoughts, pull up her skirts, and move with a dubious equilibrium through a side entrance to the main lobby. Thankfully, during the shoot, all personnel were escorted out. She walks towards the front entrance and makes a right turn through a long hallway. As she begins to regain her posture, she makes another right and enters a spacious green tiled bathroom, reminding her of an old high school gym. Rows of open showers, toilet stalls, and sinks line the wide area. Heading to the nearest one, she pulls her underwear down and wipes awkwardly with a nearby towel. With most of the juices wiped away, she adjusts her clothes before splashing water on her face. Staring at the mirror in front of her, she watches small droplets of water form, then peel down her face and neck. Ashamed? Of what? Nothing to be ashamed of. This money will feed you, and guess what? I'm buying quality food for Adam when I'm done, and he'll grow up nice and strong and have a better life than you did. You did what you must, and that's all that counts. Adam will live, your son will live, while others starve. As she breaks off from the doppelganger staring back at her, she fixes her hair and her hair back into the business style and reapplies some makeup. After stuffing the feminine equipment away, she makes her way back onto the set. Knees still shaking from the ordeal, she saves her position by slamming the palm of her left hand against the polished stone. Pushing off, she stumbles into the main lobby, with Susan joking lightly with one of the production crew. Maybe hearing the noise from behind, Susan glances over and waves at her. She saunters over, then tugs Marie by the shoulder. Let me walk you to the door. Following the order, Marie walks beside her. Her thoughts are startled when she feels Susan grab onto her hand. Swinging both intertwined units like a symbiotic twin, Susan breaks off contact when they reach the entrance. She smiles and reaches into her pocket to produce a tattered envelope dangling loosely from her fingers. For you, sweetness, you were fucking awesome in that scene. Out of the ballpark. Thank you, Marie returns a smile with her usual grace. Taking the envelope, she stuffs it into the pocket of her jacket. Listen, Susan clears her throat before continuing. I don't usually do this, at least not with anyone I just met, let alone the new talent. But I wanted to do lunch with you sometime. Just so we can discuss another project. Maybe talk. Believe it or not, most of the people who work here are quite dull. I know, you wouldn't think so, right? Marie pauses. Sure, just please email me and I can work something out. Perfect. Also, I know how crowded these shitty new grocery rationing or whatever these new outlets can be. So just go up to any of the serving clerks and whisper a secret safe word. They'll know what it means. Marie is taken aback when Susan rushes forward and wraps her into a beer hug. Holding on tight, she leans her head over and inhales their newly minted friend, soaking up every one of her scents before the long exhale. Loosening her vice-like grip, Susan breaks off and steps back. All right, just make sure you get back to me, my delicious pet. Her head thrown back in laughter from her own witticism, Susan walks off into one of the dark corridors. Marie breathes out, then checks her phone for any new messages. An icon she instantly recognizes pops up as she swipes with a thumb. Looks like service is up and running. Good luck with the interview, doll. Love you, it reads. As Marie walks out of the building, she ignores the friendly nod from one of the bouncers sitting at the security desk. Arms pressed against the surface, his concentration turns back towards a novel with the title Make Room in bold print letters written on its cover. Okay, all right. So, that is the end of chapter 4. And so pretty much, as you can see, this is a very important scene. A lot of stuff is going on that I just explained. Pretty much, As far as Marie, we know that she was very desperate for money. We know she has boyfriends. Um, I don't think we know much about him at this point. We definitely get a feeling of Susan though, kind of compared to Marie. Um, Susan Dean doesn't seem like a person who is desperate. I mean, she runs at the Citadel, where a lot of those pornographic shoots occur, and she really seems a very eccentric character, especially compared to Marie. It's almost like kind of like going back to when I wrote it. It's kind of like a dichotomy between same way that Batman and Robin, kind of a dichotomy between each other. Maybe Ed Stark and Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. Just kind of two polarizing characters. Yeah. So anyway, it looks like I am gonna end the stream on this high note. We're gonna do chapter 5 tomorrow. Also, what I was thinking as well too, though, is one of the reasons why I'm not IRL streaming outside, at least now, is that this story I wrote is like 50,000 words over that, so that's not a lot of pages to print out, right? But I have been thinking though, what I could do though, is actually I don't know, my battery in my laptop is okay. It runs for a couple hours. It's so I was thinking of taking my fully charged laptop and putting it in a backpack, and then taking it to like a bar or something like that, somewhere outside that I could walk around with it. I didn't really think about that, but that's actually a good idea. So I might do that. If maybe tomorrow even. It's kind of like I'm not in like New York or Los Angeles. I know that Los Angeles has like Ice Poseidon and Bone Clinks have like a lot of IRL streamers in there. But I'm not sure about Denver. But I still might, I probably might like walk around the area and check things out and see what happens. Yeah. So anyway, though, let me just read some of the comments over here. Okay. Okay. All right. So that should be it. Let me turn this off. Oh, end. Okay.